all the instructors at Love Systems, we all have a similar story, right? It's all the same story that you guys are probably going through right now. We all came from a place where we weren't very good with women, and we decided to change that. And through that process, we became who we are, right? And it's interesting because all the instructors at Love Systems, like I said, we have the exact same story. And the one thing we all have in common is that we understood that where we were and where we needed to be, we need to change things about ourselves. And that's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to do. You live your life the same way, and at one day you decide, you know what? I have to change things. This isn't good. I'm not happy with who I am right now. There's a certain person that I want to be that I'm not there yet, and I want to be that guy. So how do I do that? Getting good to the women is a part of that. It's why you guys are all here. But it's so much bigger than that. When you sort of realize what it means to be confident and being able to do the things you never thought was possible with women, you start to realize that those things are the same things that you encounter with anything you want to get good at. Not just women, but just life in general. And so that's sort of the talk that I want to have with you guys today, is how to become that person that you all want to be. It's why you're here. One of the things with identity that makes people attractive, I think, is being unique. And more or less, being unique. You have to set yourself apart from everybody else. I don't mean sort of, standing out or, like doing peacocking and stuff like that. I mean being a real person, being a genuine, real person. And what I mean by that is, I live in Vancouver now, but I used to live in Toronto. And in my neighborhood in Toronto that I lived in, Little Portugal, anytime I ever met someone on a regular basis, so like a bank teller or a grocery store clerk or anyone that you see more than once, the person who works at a convenience store, I'd always make sure to have a real, genuine interaction with them. You know how many people go by, like in a grocery store? If you work in a grocery store or a bank, how many people go by that they just play that role of the customer, And they're just like, okay, beep, 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 okay, here's my $10, beep, 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 and then, okay, they're gone, and, whatever, and then the next person comes. It's very monotonous. I always make a point to become a real person to them, not just another customer, but I make a point to have a conversation with them. Even something, it doesn't have to be anything special, maybe about the weather or about just anything. And I try to make their day better and let them know that I'm a real person, right? I'm not just some guy going through. This is one of those things that it's how you sort of develop a habit for this stuff. The woman of your dreams, you're probably not going to meet in a bar. She's probably going to be a girl that walks by you or is standing in line at the bank or is in the grocery store, right? And the way you develop this identity and this personality that makes it easy to talk to that person is by having genuine conversations with every single person that you meet in your life, even ones that have no meaning outside of what you're paying your bills or getting your groceries. This is how you become a sort of an interesting, real person. And it has benefits that go just outside of developing a habit of talking to people. That has much farther-reaching, there's much better things you can get from it. When I lived in Toronto, and I do this in Vancouver now, but I'm still sort of getting to know the people where I live, I could go in across the street to the convenience store where Mike worked that owned it. And he knows who I am now because I go in, maybe once a week or something. But because every time I see him, I have a real conversation with him, it's almost like we're friends. And I used to get deals all the time on things that fell off trucks, and that's what sort of, you have to let that man inside you come out. That person we all want to be. You have to start listening to him. And you have to start making the decisions that he wants you to make. And it's going to be tough, I'm telling you. You're going to go through some shit, but it's okay, like I said, because it's a process. You learn, and you get stronger, and you get better. And eventually, one day, you wake up, and you're pretty close to who you are. And it's always an ongoing process, too. When I first started this, 4 or 5 years ago, I started doing it, and I'm like, holy fuck, I'm good. Even before I started Love Systems, I'm like, yeah, I'm good with women. And then 6 months later, I look back at myself, and I'm thinking, I wasn't fucking good. I was terrible. But now I'm good. And then 6 months after that, no, I wasn't. Now I'm good. And it always goes on like that, because you're always learning. You're always becoming a little bit closer to that person that you want to be.